So why are you so out of shape?
Okay, so, like 3 days ago, I was looking at myself. I was like, damn, dude, you're looking saggy.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't about it. So I was like, you know what? I got to get back into it, man. Went on Amazon. I got to stop doing that. God damn it, dude. But anywho, I was like, man, I want to get a punching bag. You know, I got a lot of stress from work and stuff. So I was like, hit the bag a little bit, throw these hands around a little bit, feel good. Like, and I think I was hitting the bag for like 20 minutes on and off. I got out of breath pretty quick on the first 2-minute round, And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to work in some lunges with this.
Bad idea.
I did 12 lunges. 12. That's 10 fingers plus 2,
right?
For the lamers out there. But
take your socks off. It's just 2 toes.
I don't have sandals on, so I get that high. But dude, I want to say on the 8th lunge, and I only did it in my shop, and my shop's only like 50 feet long.
Oh my God.
So you can only, with my long legs, I only got like 5 steps.
You got like 3 strides.
Like 5 strides per rep. Dude, I got to 8, and I was like, oh, cramping. And then I was like, oh, let's push through it, dude. You'll be all right. I did the rest of them, got to 12. And then went to go, I like jumped a little bit. I did that like boxer, move
Try
around.
to shadow box like all the cool cats and kittens out there.
The second I did that, dude, my right ass cheek was like, nope. And then just cramped. And I was like, ah! Oh, dude, I was struggling. So then the rest of the day, man, sitting down to use the bathroom, standing up, laying on the couch, I'm dying today.
Walk around like a newborn baby giraffe.
Oh, dude, I look like Bambi. Oh, dude, I'm hurting. Even sitting in this chair right now, man.
I bet.
These cheeks got a beating.
Oh, careful.
Careful. They did. These cheeks went through a lot yesterday. What's happening?
Episode 3.
Back at it again, baby.
You want to read this or should I read it?
I'll read it. Let's keep it going.
People are going to think I can't read.
You can't
keep reading these.
That's a problem. The. All right, dude. Would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized bears or one bear-sized chicken?
A bear-sized chicken or 100?
No. Would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized bears or one bear-sized chicken? So 100.
Oh, chicken size. So a bunch of little bears.
This is a tough question.
This is like one of those math questions in school.
Yeah. Would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized bears or one bear-sized chicken?
Ooh. I feel like if you fought 100,
that's a big ass chicken, dude.
Well, even like the little bear, you fought 100 little bears. Like one ant's not a problem, but a couple million ants.
But this didn't say baby bears.
No, but like small bears. They're chicken-sized bears.
Oh, see, I still don't understand. Okay, gotcha. All right, well, let's hear it.
I would have to go. I feel like if you just took out that chicken's knees, the big chicken, because their legs are really small, right? Okay. I would go after his knees.
So,
the bear-sized chicken,
dude. That would be like an 800-pound chicken.
I know, but if you took out his knee, you got to go for his knees because he's big up top.
You're wrong, dude. Nope. I'd be punting 100 chicken-sized bears all day, dude. Putting them through the uprights.
Yeah, I know, but even a small bear could probably kill you.
Well, it looks like this isn't going to be Patriot Twins podcast anymore because you're going to be gone.
Well, you'll be dead because I'm gonna be grabbing that big chicken by his ankles.
You're going to be getting pecked. Dude, imagine the size of that beak.
But I guess they might, like a chicken can turn their head all the way around, huh?
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
Like an owl.
You're done already. I might as well fight. Hey, anybody want to? If anybody looks like me, apply. Hit us up in the comments.
If I'm not going to make it.
Nah, dude. There's no way. 100 chicken-sized bears would be easy to handle. Chicken-sized, dude. There's some big-ass chickens in the world.
So far, we've been, 0-2 on agreeing on these.
Yeah, for some reason, you're always wrong. No. Always. No. Well, I hope this never comes up. This is going to suck for you.
Oh, my God, dude. That's episode 3.
What's happening?
Lane, what's going on?
It's living life, baby.
You have any good Bud Lights lately?
I can't say that I have.
You look like a guy who would drink a Bud Light or who's had your fair share of Bud Lights.
I have definitely had my fair share. I've gone through racks, dude. 36 racks.
I've seen
tons, gallons, hundreds.
But I don't think that's going to be a future choice of beverage for a lot of people.
That whole Bud Light thing, dude. It's so crazy. Like, what did they think was going to happen?
Well,
you know? How did
it makes you think, did like that, the VP of marketing, did she even,
the gal? I can't remember her name.
Did she just kind of slip that past the guards? And you know what I mean? And just show up one day and like, okay, here, we're just push us through. Don't ask any questions.
No, you have to, there's no way that they didn't sit down with a board of people and pitch the idea. Bud Light's not a stupid corporation. Big corporations are not dumb. Like
they've been around 40 years.
Right. So they know how to market. They know all that. So that means that they sat down with a group of people and this made it through.
Well, not necessarily, because she was like the head of the marketing division, right?
Right.
So who knows if the higher ups even knew what was going on at that point?
Of course they did, dude.
Nah, you don't know that.
No.
I mean, you would hope they would.
No, they looked at it. My opinion is they probably sat down and said, okay, so that's what you want to do, huh? And she was like, yes. And then they said, well, there's probably going to be some backlash. I think what's happening is they're probably banking on this is blowing over in a month or two. And then they're assuming people are going to come back.
No, it's not going to happen. There's no way. There's so much outrage so fast. Like the second the video came out with the whole Dylan person being their spokesperson,
right?
There was instant backlash. I know for me, I'm not even a Bud Light drinker. I'm not a big beer drinker. I'm a whiskey guy. But
you're a whiskey girl.
Looking at that, like the second I saw that first commercial, my first thought in my head was, why would you go so hard in that direction? And I understand companies, they're a for-profit company, right? So they want to reach as many people as they can to sell their product. And their companies, that brand has been in decline for a long time. I understand that.
Have you sorry,
go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but have you seen, so I've heard that said a few times now where people are like, oh, the head of marketing gal says it, you know, it's been in decline for a long time, but I haven't seen figures on that. So have you seen figures?
I haven't seen the figures on it.
Okay.
But there's been other people talking about it as well.
I mean, she didn't share them. So like, have they really been in decline?
Right. Was she just using that as a ploy to like make an excuse?
Right.
To get, because obviously she had a clear agenda. And she even talked, she's not shy about showing it.
No. I mean, she's in a big spot, you know, meaning, you know, and I say big spot, meaning she's being the head of marketing for a multi-billion-dollar corporation like that.
Right. Well, it's Anheuser-Busch in general. It's not just Bud Light's just a branch of Anheuser-Busch. Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. But
I think what really pissed people off was her talking through her statement she put out. You know, our normal customer base are fratty, and she really kind of started bashing the people who've been buying their product for the past 40 years. Like, to me, it looked like she was saying, look, we're tired of our old customers. We want new customers. We don't want these people to buy this anymore. We don't want this associated with the partiers and the old school hardworking Americans, because that's kind of
Well, she didn't say that, but yeah, like
that's what I got from it.
Yeah, sure. I think her quote was like fratty. I can't remember the other part, but yeah, it's something roughly along those lines. But those are the people buying the product.
Right.
And some of those people have been buying it for years, dude.
Right.
Generations.
Yeah.
There's been young men, generations watching their fathers and grandfathers drinking Bud Light.
Right.
You know? And it seems like they're kind of crapping on them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
No, a little more than a little bit. A
lot of it.
I'm not even a diehard Bud Light guy, and that's how I took it. Like, we're done pandering to the average working people and the college age students. And they want the college age students, but they want the other side of the spectrum, or she does at least. Well, she talks about being inclusive.
From what I read, they're reaching out to the younger Gen Z crowd.
Right.
That's like the big. I read a few articles on this just to kind of get different perspectives and see what's out there. I want to get the facts. I want to see what people are saying. But a lot of it was her just stating we're trying to get out of the frat boy mentality that our brand is associated with. But it's like,
and it's not like it's the best beer in the universe.
Dude, frat boys and good old boys, they're
the ones buying it
by the week, daily, tall cans, everything. You know.
Yeah.
And
for any corporation to go that hard into a decision like that, and anyone who doesn't, people can say this all they want. Oh, it's not political. They're just trying to market to a different crowd. In this day and age, that's a political move. Whether that's how it's portrayed, there's so much outcry for trans rights and making sure that trans people feel like they have a spot at the table, right?
Right.
That's a big thing. We can't deny that. We're not going to walk by that.
I mean, it's hard to say that it's politically driven. It literally could just be like, hey, I think this is a good idea to include this demographic of people.
And I like I said, I'm okay with companies. I would understand that, but to choose someone like this Dylan Mulvaney, I think is the name, who is a really, really poor representation of what a woman is.
It seems very
theatrical.
Yes.
Like, I have daughters. I wouldn't want my daughter to act like that. He gets to put on a facade every day and portray what he thinks a woman should be. It's like a disservice to women. Like, they're using this person to represent women in their brand.
That's one thing.
Why don't you just use a real woman?
Right. And I did some research before we got onto this topic, because I was trying to see, I wasn't sure if they were trying to find a woman to launch this with.
If you look at the videos of what Dylan Mulvaney's put out so far, it's always like, oh, this is my day 365 of womanhood. Like, obviously, he's trying to be a woman, right?
Right.
Okay. So then by a company taking someone like that, he's not going to go out there and say he's a man transitioning into a woman. Like, he wants to portray himself as a woman. That's what he's been doing for a year. So the company using Dylan Mulvaney as their women spokesperson, I think, is a huge slap in the face to real women. Just like them using Nike using Dylan Mulvaney as well
for their women's line
for a sports bra.
I'm not for that.
Whether Mr. Dylan likes it or not, he's not a woman.
I do agree with that. It takes away from women being able to get those roles.
Yes,
and
absolutely
be the face,
right?
You know, and it's a hard subject to talk about. Taking away women's roles, especially from women who work hard to get where they're going,
right?
You know,
like Riley Gaines.
Yeah, a case in point.
Right,
that's my point.
She trained her. I watched a couple of interviews with her, and she's talking about not all the people she's competing against, but most of the women in that sport, or in most sports, who get in the collegiate levels, have been training their entire lives. They started as young women, either elementary school or later in high school, middle school, whatever. But they've been working for years and years and years to be the best at whatever sport they are. And she's an Olympic she was twice Olympic trialist. So she's like best of the best, right?
Right. And what gets me is she states in a different interview, far after that happened, she's like, I worked for 18 years. She's like, I had a goal set for myself to be the best. And then all of a sudden, a guy who swam with the team from 2017 to 2020. So he's already been on the men's side of it.
Oh, you're talking about the trans guy, or Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas. Yeah, I'm talking about Leah Thomas. So from 2017 to 2020, he trained and competed in the guys level.
When he was blowing women out of the water.
Yeah, and then in 2021, he transitions to a woman and then kills it.
Right.
And
and huge props to Riley Gaines for competing against a man in this sport, and she tied with him.
She did. And she says, thank God I tied with him.
Right.
Yeah. And then she got stripped.
Because we're not going to walk around the whole men and women are the same, because they're not. That's why sports have been separated for so many years.
Yeah. That's why
there's even women like Serena Williams. She is the best of the best in tennis.
Right.
She is a powerhouse. And there's an interview with her. I forgot who she's talking to. But they ask, would you ever compete against any of the men? And she goes, there's no way I ever would, because the men, it just wouldn't be a competition. She's like, I'm the best at what I do with the women's leagues, because that's what it's for. She's like, the men, they got faster reaction times. Their muscle density is different. They're stronger. They're serving faster. It's just a different ball game. Yeah. And she's the best of the best. Like, she would kick our ass if we try to play against her, obviously.
Oh, dude, no doubt.
If you take two athletes, man and woman, who are in the same sport, who've been training the same amount of time, it's different leagues.
Oh, 100%.
It's different leagues.
100%.
And you don't see a whole lot of women who transition into being men going into men's sports. But even then, and I thought about this. So it was a woman, born woman, transitioning to become a man.
Gotcha.
Think about this. So when a man becomes a woman, they have to take testosterone blockers. And then that starts to feminize their body, right?
Right.
So the testosterone levels drop. But even when they drop, they're still higher than natural born women. So that's your first red flag as far as men training or competing with women, even if they're on the hormone therapy. their levels aren't the same. And they actually measure the levels of testosterone. And Riley Gaines talks about that. There's certain levels you can't be above to compete in some of these events. Okay. They actually test them. So now think about this. Woman transitioning into a man, how do you do that as a woman?
You have to take testosterone.
Right. So they go into these sports. The few women who transition to men that I've found who are going into those, you got to think like, okay, even if you give the smallest amount of testosterone to a woman, it's going to have a high effect because their body already has so little of it, right? Mm-hmm. Once you start taking that, muscle density changes, bone density changes, everything. It becomes more masculine.
Right.
So now you have a woman who is now trying to be a man competing against men who are not allowed to take steroids. It's illegal to do that.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
Think about that.
I never thought about that.
And they say, well, it's, that was a woman at first, so she's transitioning into a man, so it's not the same. It's like, do you know how athletic that person would be if they're on a year of steroids? Testosterone therapy?
If they train correctly.
Yeah. Think about that. How would that be fair to the men? Because you couldn't go into a sport and start doing steroids.
No.
You get tested, you be gone. Right. But now you have female to male athletes coming in who are on testosterone therapy for the rest of their life. Yeah. You couldn't walk into a doctor's office and say, you know what? I hate how I look. I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to look like Jay Cutler. I need you to give me steroids. Right?
It would never happen.
No, they'd look at you and they do a couple of tests and they would see what your test levels are at and they go, no, you're at the normal level. We're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But a woman who wants to be a man can walk in and request testosterone and get it
and bump there
and bump it up.
It would be interesting to see if they could still compete even with whatever chemicals they're.
Oh, they could compete, and like the ones I found, they did compete, but it's got to be an unfair advantage because they're on a chemically enhanced substance that you couldn't take and I couldn't take. See what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I've never even thought about that, so I don't really know what to say.
I thought deep about that because I really wanted to think like, okay, so why don't I agree with the opposite gender going into the opposite gender sport? Mm-hmm. And that's just what I came up with. Like, there's no way a doctor would look at you and go, yeah, I'm going to give you some testosterone because I have body dysmorphia. I think I have to be a bodybuilder. I need to be huge. I need to have more muscle. And one way to do that is to be on steroids, right? Mm-hmm. They'd be, no, you're crazy. You're not doing that. You probably need to go. There's probably a therapy issue there. Let's hope you fix that. That's a body dysmorphia. I'm not. That's just my assumption.
You'd think that's what they'd say, but right. In today's day and age, you never know.
But then you can be a woman who wants to become a man, and you can request that. And I'm sure there's testing for that as well. I'm not saying that they just nilly-willy write these prescriptions.
I mean, I totally get what you're saying. If a woman took all those, if she took steroids, if she took testosterone, all that, whatever the case may be, since the men, at a professional level, men have to get tested.
Right.
So how would she possibly pass the test?
Right.
And which leads to the next question. Now, are they going to start adjusting the rules? So,
yeah.
There's
nothing wrong with having men and women separate in their own sports. Like if you took a woman from the WNBA, tried to play in the NBA, it wouldn't go very well.
No.
Or if a man was like, hey, if a professional an NBA player was like, identify as a girl and I'm going to go play in the WNBA, it would be a slap in the face to those women who've been training their whole lives to go play that sport and be the best of the best.
Imagine Larry Bird back in the day.
Yeah.
Being like, nope, I'm part of the
WNBA. He'd be a monster.
He'd be nasty.
Yeah.
But it's not fair. Unfair advantage shouldn't happen. There's videos out now of even MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Not
or even in wrestling.
Yeah. And I've seen some of these videos, man, and these trans women are just sleeping.
They're like ragdolling these poor women.
Oh, and it's hard to watch.
Right.
It really is.
And like we both have daughters.
And I will say it is the opponent being the woman. It's her choice to get into the ring with them. They made that choice. I get that.
Well, no, they didn't make that choice. They're being forced into it by the organizations who are allowing this to happen. Because it's not these women's fault. These organizations are allowing this. They can get out if they want, but how would you feel if you were working for 15 years
right. and
training to be the best in your sport?
You get an opponent, you're like, well, crap, I don't want to not fight.
Right. I've been doing this my whole life.
I guess you could be kind of strong-armed into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even Riley Gaines talks about that. She wasn't a fan of that, but she's been training her entire life to do this.
Yeah.
So she's going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And she still almost kicked that guy's ass.
There was that other story of that was recent, the track runner. The guy.
Oh, the one who took off and kept looking behind his shoulder to see how far back they were.
Yeah, it seemed he seemed very
Very relaxed.
well. He's like taunting, you know.
Right.
It's like, dude, don't come to the women's level and then brag like you're some superstar.
Right.
It's like, dude, you outweigh. Your legs are longer. You're faster. You're stronger. It's like, dude, why are you flexing on these ladies?
Right.
Like, where's the flex?
And they beat you and I in a race for sure. But
oh yeah, dude, I'm built for 10 yards,
Yeah.
man. Maybe 9.
I can run through that wall right here, but I can't. I couldn't run a mile.
I'd be tired when I got to the other side.
That's right.
Out of breath, dude. Struggling.
But like thinking of as a dad of 2 daughters, if they were in high school and they were, you know, in soccer or basketball or something like baseball, whatever, and say your daughter was like top of the team, like team captain, and she was killing it.
Yeah.
And then they allowed a boy who wanted to be a girl start competing with these women or these little girls. That boy is going to take away what these girls are working towards because it's not a fair fight.
Science says he would most likely come in and dominate.
Absolutely. They should never got into this mess. There's a couple organizations now who are saying you have to compete in the class in which you were born.
It makes total sense.
But even coming up in the ranks to that point, like you have to go through, like if you're in college, it's like you do your college meets, say for like a track
You got to qualify.
You go through your college meets and you have to qualify.
Yeah.
So like now that if you're a guy competing against women in college, now you're taking a spot away from a woman.
Dude, if I could go back to, so I threw at Queen Mecca College and I did pretty decent. I did shot put, javelin, hammer, and discus. Killed it in shot put.
Right.
Got to throw against all the big 4-year colleges, you know. It's funny, they took top 9 and your boy was top 9.
That's right.
I was number 9, baby. Bringing up the rear, you know.
That's right.
But it was a great experience. In high school, as a senior in high school, you throw a 12-pound shot put. Right. You hit college, jumps up to a 16-pound shot put. It's a cannonball.
Right.
It's huge.
And I think the women's throw 8-pound, right?
So in high school, the heaviest it gets to for women is 8 pounds. And then you hit college and it stays at 8 pounds.
Right.
And I think it even gets to the Olympic level and it stays at 8 pounds.
And you threw like 60 feet, which is a pretty good mark.
No, I don't think it was 60. See, people can
well,
look
you
this
threw-
up,
no,
dude.
you
I got to
threw-
be honest about this.
I know, right? You were like
don't be throwing out
mid-50s.
false numbers on me, dude.
But think of how far you could throw an 8-pound shot.
I think the furthest I threw my 16-pound shot was like around 53 or 54 feet.
Right. I was
which
terrible
was
at shot put.
decent. It was decent. But
Right.
there was dudes blowing me out of the water at the big meets.
But imagine if you
back to
identified as a woman.
Yeah, so back to what I'm saying is, dude, if I could throw an 8-pound shot put in college, I'd have been throwing 70s, dude.
Right.
Launching it.
Right. And
Killing it.
And we had really good athletes that threw with us, and we threw against a lot of really good athletes that our female teammates played against.
We had one of the gals was one of the top throwers in high school.
Right.
Her senior year, I think she was like 1 or 2 in the nation.
Right.
She went to CIF and then she went to state.
Right. She was the top of her her competitive level.
Yeah. So if the number 9 guy came in,
right,
and I'm like,
yeah,
hey, I'm
you
throwing
show
against
up,
you now.
you
What's
show
happening?
Up, yeah, it's like how would that be fair to that
You're
girl?
not gonna win this.
You just went from, hey, I'm the best at this. I've been working so hard to get here, and then a guy shows up and just completely erases what you've done.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to the women who bust their ass to be the best in the women's category.
And you know what? As thinking about like the guys who are doing this, who are transitioning into women, and they go compete against these women, you got to think like, what do you really think you're doing a service to women by doing that? You know,
Yeah.
like it's a slap in the face.
It is. It takes away all the hard work,
Right.
all the dedication, and we got to look at the entities who are allowing this to happen.
I would imagine that a lot of these institutions that are allowing it, a lot of them are collegiate, like colleges. There were some high schools that were allowing it. I would imagine some of them are doing it under pressure because of society and not wanting to be destroyed or boycotted or have mass amounts of protesters show up at schools. Like Riley Gaines was forced into she had to barricade herself into a room for 3 hours because all those protesters came in there, and she was physically assaulted by a guy wearing a dress. I read the story.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Right?
That's
no
so
one has been
unneeded.
arrested for that. Nobody.
I haven't dug that far into it.
And they're saying, well, we're still investigating, so who knows what'll come from that. Someone might get arrested.
This is what I don't get. Whoever's part of that extreme group of people who show up They're constantly yelling. They're blowing whistles. They're assaulting people. Of course, there's an opposition to your thoughts because people are seeing this nasty attack on a peaceful event.
Right. You're using violence to try and get what you want.
She showed up, and she's done numerous talks now. So she's an activist.
You know what? And good for her. She's even said, like, I'm not going to shut up about this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't do that. And I have a lot of respect for that woman because she's standing up for what she believes in, which is what a lot of people won't do nowadays. Like these colleges and whatever schools or entities that allow this, transgender athletes to compete with women or men. People need to stand up. You don't agree with it, then say something.
Yeah. And there's a peaceful way to do it. You don't showing up and yelling profanities at people and making fun of her crying while she's being chased down the hallway.
I'm sure that was terrifying. When you have an angry mob of people behind you.
Think of the anxiety-inducing trauma that causes. Like, that's real.
And it didn't shut her up, though, and that's why I got respect for her. She's like, okay, you did that to me, then.
But I would imagine she's still dealing with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing good is going to come out of that other than more hate and more violence.
Right. Yeah, it didn't shut her up. That's what they were trying to do, was to get her so you couldn't hear her voice.
Right.
Which is stripping someone of their First Amendment right. Right?
Yeah, it is.
That's the basic of it. That's the base. That's the basic idea behind that. We're gonna scream and we're gonna threaten you and we're gonna call you terrible names and we're gonna assault you and we're gonna try and make it so you don't want to speak anymore.
Yeah, and that's disturbing because, like you said, like, what's the school doing about it?
They put out a statement about it and they were definitely not backing Riley Gaines on this.
Well, there were so many.
They almost kind of chastised her, like she was the problem.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it was San Francisco State.
Because there's been a lot of stories that I'm seeing where that whole event is being reported as a peaceful protest. Like,
there's nothing peaceful about it. You can watch it. There was nothing peaceful about it.
How can you possibly sit? Which shows me that, like, they're lying.
Oh, they're lying directly to people's faces.
Like, how is that peaceful? A man was hitting her.
Right.
There was people in the crowd, chasing her.
Right. Well, then you see all the other videos of conservative speakers at schools, at colleges. Mm-hmm. And the rioters are breaking the doors in to get into these auditoriums where they're speaking. They're shattering windows just to get in to disrupt and make it so this person can't speak their mind.
And which brings me back to my point of what the hell are they thinking?
You're not going to win.
How is this? There's such a better way to go about getting your point across. But showing up at people's events and yelling at them and screaming at them and threatening to harm them and just being the nastiest human being in the world.
And it's making that divide even worse.
Right.
I'm not saying that all the conservative events, something bad doesn't happen on both sides. Okay,
right.
There's bad people on both sides.
There is,
but there's more examples and instances of the left showing up and terrorizing people to the point where they can't speak anymore. And the schools aren't doing anything about it. When I say schools, I'm talking about the colleges. They're allowing this to happen, especially places like San Francisco.
Yeah.
You don't get much more liberal than that in California.
San Francisco?
Yes. And the proof is in the pudding with that one because no one got arrested.
Not yet.
They know who attacked this poor woman.
Someone's going to have to get arrested.
I hope so, but there's been a lot of
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if nobody got arrested for that.
No, I won't be.
You can't hit somebody and get away with it. Especially
they get away with it all the time.
When it's like documented. You know what I mean?
I know.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with it.
I wonder if that guy with the frying pan got away with it.
Ooh, man, he would have been sleeping people.
I wonder if he got away with that.
You would have just heard bells ringing the whole time. Bong.
They used that Tokyo Drift soundtrack. Have you seen that video? And the school should be coming out and saying, hey, this is freedom of speech. They're here peacefully. You're not.
Yeah,
you get the hell out of here.
You can't be in here. You can stay, but you can't be in here doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. There should be a mediator.
You can protest because that's your right, but you got to do it outside.
Yeah.
You can't come in here and deny people their freedom of speech.
Right. There's another instance that pops up in my head. There's I can't remember the guy's name, but just, for the sake of the discussion, he's there to speak in some auditorium at some college, and this person, this gal, just starts screaming.
Right.
They do that yelling thing.
It drives me nuts.
She's like, I'm 17 years old. I'm a psych major or something like that, and this is my college, and you don't belong here.
That's really inclusive, right? Because they want everyone to feel included and everyone to be happy, right?
Yeah, and
unless you don't agree with us.
Another thing is, it's like, dude, you're only 17. What the hell do you know?
What life experience do you have?
Yeah, just because you take some college classes, you think you have the right to go in and shut down.
Well, that goes to like the idea of the indoctrination that they're getting from a lot of these professors in these classrooms. There's a lot of these professors who are applauding these kids for doing this. And I say kids because that's what they are. When you're in college, you're still a kid.
18, I think 18 and below.
No, even in these 20, I know when I was 21, 22, compared to what I am now, I was a kid. I was still very young and immature. I was not the man I am today.
I was drinking copious amounts of Bud Light back then.
This is OE and Cobra. I mean, the really bad stuff.
Don't get me started.
But no Bud Light though. Ugh, Bud Light's always been bad to me. Yeah. Now I really won't drink it.
No, man, that's the official beer of beer pong.
I'm sure. Well,
100%.
I'm sure a lot of that's going to go away.
Yeah.
Well, it already is. Like Kid Rock.
He had quite the reaction.
Yeah.
What about that machine gun he had though?
That was pretty badass.
That was.
We would never get. We don't know what freedom of owning something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I liked it.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, damn, that thing's sick, dude.
And you know what? I'm looking at all the videos and the posts I've seen about people boycotting Bud Light. It's nice to see for once people actually standing up for what they believe in.
Well, I'm
not saying. I'm sure there's people who are disagreeing with this because, you know, there's always going to be racist and homophobics and people who wish harm on other people, right?
Yes.
And there's some people who are outraged who have that mindset, and I get that, and we don't condone that. I'm totally against that. But I also think there's a huge group of people who look at it like why'd you go so hard on it?
Yeah, you didn't
have to jump on that bandwagon.
God, dude, yeah. Twins. I was literally just gonna say bandwagon.
Look at this.
Don't touch my white jacket, dude.
Well, I'm bringing to change of clothes next time because this is getting stupid.
You better bring 3 shirts because I'm not changing.
Well, and I bet they would all match what you're gonna wear one time.
You think so? You think one of the 3 would be a matching shirt?
You even wear the same boots as me.
Did you wear?
You just can't help yourself.
No, my friend showed us these boots on sale. Okay.
Yes.
So you copied my boot.
Well, I bought them first. No, wait, hey, I bought them for you. What are you talking about?
You did.
I bought these boots for you.
You did. I was hoping you weren't going to bring that
up. You almost got me on that one.
Yeah. Anywho, how about them pods, man?
Pods? Oh.
Them Padres, dude.
I'm not a sports guy.
I know you're not. I
like to play sports, but I can't watch them. I don't have the patience.
One day we'll have a sports talk and we'll see how you do.
Oh my God.
But
I like to talk about the Constitution and stuff.
Yeah. Recite the preamble.
We the people that. See, got me. You can't put me on the spot like that. I got to sing the song. Was it Schoolhouse Rock song?
Schoolhouse Rock. That's the only way I can.
And I'm not going to do that right now.
No. I will come out and do it though. I just got to practice.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Do it top of the head right now.
We the people. In order to form a more. See, I already skipped it.
That stutter's going to start flying in quick too.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, leave the stutter.
We don't have enough time for that.
Yeah. You're gonna be like 12 S's in that.
Speaking of time, man, I think we're out today.
Are we?
We are.
Oh man! All right. Well, what's up, dude? You got any final thoughts, man? Hey, I will say, I just want to say this because I know people saw it on the last episode. Our last ending sucked. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Sorry about that. We're new to this. We're a couple of contractors.
Well, you don't realize
we're working on it.
You don't realize like when you're coming up to an end sometimes because you just kind of run out. Like you finish your thought process. Like okay, I think we're good on that.
Hey, but you know what?
But we gotta end stronger.
With ends come new beginnings.
Ooh,
I like put that in a tattoo, huh?
Right.
Like it.
Well,
yeah. But yeah, closing thoughts, man. What do you got?
No, I think that's
what's on that noggin of yours.
See, you keep going and you keep saying closing thoughts, and I had a way to finish it, and then you keep circling around.
Sorry.
You need to learn when to stop, man.
Sorry. God. I'll stop. I'll shut my mouth. I just didn't want this ending to be as bad as the last one. You're right. It's embarrassing, man.
Well, we'll finish with a joke. 2 guys walk into a bar. They say, ouch.
Yeah, one guy says, ouch. No, man. I would, my closing thought would be if people want to get their point across, being aggressive, screaming at rallies, shutting people's First Amendment down is not the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. I'm going to do that from now on.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah. I'm going to adopt that.
Don't you try that with me, dog.
Say something right now. I'll start screaming.
Something. Yeah, I bet you would.
See, I almost did it.
Flinch at you, dude.
I didn't flinch at you.
I'm scary, aren't I?
I'm scared of you.
No way. You ain't got to be scared, baby. Just know.
Oh, wow. Anyways. Well,
that's
hope you guys liked it. We're doing it again.
That's all right. Hey, thank you for tuning in, guys. We're on a bunch of social media platforms. I'm not smart enough to look up what those were before we started this one. Again, with the crappy endings. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. I mean,
Pretty
we're
much
everywhere,
any
baby.
streaming site for podcast, you can find us.
Yeah, we're everywhere. Hey, as the kids say, we out here.
We are out here.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Catch you on the next one.